Rock Metal Podcast, Episode 2, with Daedric Tales. Alright, Rock Metal Nation, I've got on the line today Daedric Tales, a female-fronted symphonic metal band from Vienna, Austria, and I'm super stoked to have them on. Today I'm joined by the members of Daedric Tale, Ari and Alex. Ari, Alex, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Hi, thank you.
Why don't you guys tell Rock Metal Nation a bit about yourselves?
We're a symphonic metal band from Vienna, Austria. And, we basically have been existing since 2009, but in the current formation, I think we have been existing since 2013. Yeah.
And it's basically we started off, when we had the full lineup, that was in 2012, we immediately started recording an EP. That was Here Since Call. We released it 1 year later. And that's basically our history. Last month we released one more single, and we're currently heading further forward.
That's what I like. Go ahead,
we're planning our EP and album.
Fantastic. Yeah, we'll definitely get to some of the stuff that you guys have coming down the pipeline for sure. And for the Rock Metal Nation listening in, just kind of curious, what inspired you guys to actually pursue a life in music?
Well, the first thing is, can we even call it a life in music? Because currently, our life, we can't kind of afford focusing it only on music. One thing that basically brought us together was our passion for this type of music, for metal, especially for symphonic metal. And I think it's every metalhead's dream. The first time you hear any sort of band, you want to pick up an instrument and like be in a cool band and be just a part of it. And you pursue. Actually, everyone pursues it, and some get bored of it or give up, and some don't.
I love that part. Get bored of it or give up. And I think that's one of the two things, in all honesty, because I've been in bands before, and it can be trying, especially with getting everybody together and keeping the big, strong message that this is going to take a little while, guys. So you're probably going to have to...
Oh, yeah.
That's very true, yeah. I think it gets even more work intensive. The more people you are, the more people who kind of have to keep together, the more people have to stay motivated. That's kind of...
Especially with us, we're 7 people.
Yeah.
It's a mess to organize this couple of meetings we have every week. It's
That's a lot of sandwiches to hand out to eat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's...
Oh yeah, that too, and a couple of beers, and it's just a lot.
Exactly. So I mean, obviously you guys have gone through a few different lineups, but what is the story behind how you guys found each other, or at least the main group of people who I guess are the songwriters or the main drivers behind everything?
Oh well, that's more or less that could be a long story. I basically founded the band with our other guitarist Jacob. We just had the idea. It was how old? I think we were 16 or 17 when we started the whole idea, and we all loved playing computer games, and we still do. And Jacob and I especially love the Elder Scrolls series, which is a fantasy game series. And our name is actually a reference to this universe. We had the idea, how about we kind of create an Elder Scrolls themed metal band? And he was like, yeah, why the hell not? Let's just do this, because we're edgy and 16 and it's cool, and that's just how we went. And our current drummer and our bassist, I got to know them both in a pub, and that's just how you get to know people, and then they kind of joined us. And the rest of the band, which is Alex, our keyboarder Gonzalo, our third guitarist Daniel, and who else? That's all of us, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going down the roster, I think I got everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, we found them online. There's a website in Austria. It's just where you just kind of write if you're looking for band members or if you're a single musician that's looking for a band. And it worked surprisingly well because usually results are not that satisfying, but in this case it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny.
Really cool.
Funny you mention that because I was recently reading a biography from Gene Simmons, and he was talking about how he and Paul Stanley met each other, and it was actually through like a classified ad in the newspaper, because back in the day, it's similar, right? And I'm just going back to thinking all the times that I've put up ads for, looking for bass players or whatever, and like just the crowd that comes in. But as you were saying, like, yeah, sometimes you get some pretty odd results, but I mean, every now and again, you get the partnership that's going to take it to where it needs to go. And
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's also, I think, the power of coincidence, because I remember I was looking for exactly a symphonic metal band, and in the beginning, when I was writing that post online, I thought, okay, I'm never going to find what I'm looking for. That was basically the first thing that I thought, but then I did, and I'm still very content with what I found. So, this is how life can go.
Totally. And when you guys get together to write songs, like, what's that process like?
That process changed over the years. The current situation is it's actually one member coming up with an idea. We either record it or just type it in this Guitar Pro program, and we share this in our Dropbox, and everyone on their own can kind of see if they can continue the idea. And when we have something solid, more or less, the initial author of the idea and some interested people meet up, because in our we have basically a studio, and Gonzalo and I do have audio interfaces at home, obviously, so we can kind of do this pre-production kind of stuff. And we meet up at either like on one of these places and record the song and work on it in a group of 3 people. I think that's the maximum that goes when songwriting intensely.
Yeah, in order to remain productive, I think 3 people is probably the maximum.
Yeah.
That kind of, assures that the session is going to be productive.
Because if it's more than 3 people, like, there's at least 2 people at the same time who have nothing to do, and it's just natural. They get sidetracked, and that is not actually beneficial for the process of songwriting.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so that's it basically. It's always one person who has the core idea, and then 1 or 2 more people who refine it and extend the whole thing until we have a song.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I love the way you guys mention that. It's like, well, somebody gets an idea, might record it, might type it into Guitar Pro, and I remember those days. They still do that, and trying to show somebody your idea over MIDI and they don't get it. And you're like, why don't you get it? Listen to it. It's like,
it's good, I know it. It has to be good.
I know it's good. Listen to it. They're like, I don't. What is that? I'm like, that's the drums, man. Come on. Thankfully, then what was it, like Drum Kit from Hell, or Drummer from Hell, or like whatever came along, and I kicked the MIDI out, and they're like, oh, that's a drum beat, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I was trying to show you before. Then putting into Dropbox, when you've got 7 people, how do you coordinate all of it? Well, you've got Dropbox, which is fantastic. I know I've definitely used a lot of Google Drive when working with multiple people, and just seeing if people can continue the idea. And, gone are the days of having to book that studio time. You've got audio interfaces at home that you can do all of the pre-production. And, I mean, in all honesty, unless you really want to get it professionally mixed, you just get it professionally mastered and you're out to the world from there. Yeah. And then 3 people max to remain productive. I love that, because productive means you've produced something. It doesn't mean you were busy, right? It means that you produced something. And if you've got too many cooks...
Of course. It's... The thing is, we have actually written a lot of songs that we haven't even shown the world, because we're actually more or less constantly writing songs, but we kick some out because we think, okay, this is a good song on its own, but it just doesn't fit to Daedric Tales. I mean, I can remember the one time our guitarist Daniel, he absolutely cannot stand guttural vocals and this kind of harsh style that, like, let's say the mundane people think how they see metalheads. And it was Jacob and I, and we kind of wanted to troll him, and we were thinking, okay, you know what? Let's record a freaking brutal death metal song, and we just did that.
Yeah.
And everyone in the band was more or less okay with it because there was some parts that were interesting and where Alex could sing to it, but in general, it was just not Daedric Tales, so we kicked that song out. And yeah.
Still, it was a cool idea in general. It's sometimes nice to kind of break out of your usual kind of area where of music that you just do, and to bring in new influences. Also, maybe just sometimes to avoid getting bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, basically.
I'm really glad you guys mentioned that, too, because, you know, doing this show, I've heard a lot of bands, and just in general, I've heard a lot of bands, and I can tell when they don't have a sense of their marketable direction or what their band or their project stands for, because I'll listen to the songs, and I'm like, well, these are all great songs by themselves, but who are you? Right?
That's an important question.
Right? And you can only get so far until people are just confused and they don't know what they're listening to and things like that. And you can obviously always change your direction. Lots of times bands do that for various reasons. But countless times I remember reading like a Shadows Fall interview, and they said, yeah, we wrote a bunch of songs that were just too heavy for the Shadows Fall, so we actually started a death metal band so that these songs could live on in a heavier sphere. And I just remember thinking, like, wow, that's just smart.
Yeah, it is.
So speaking of songs, let's go ahead and get into this first one. It is called The Red Mountain from your 2013 EP, Hearsing Call. Let's go ahead and give it a listen. right, so we're coming back from the Red Mountain. Sweet track, definitely loved it. Very heavy. I love the drum sound in that, actually.
Glad you like it.
And the guitar sound, of course. We all know it's a beautiful marriage between all of them once you hit the mixing board, though, right? What was the inspiration?
It was a hassle to mix, I think, for the engineer, because there are a lot of tracks.
Yeah,
I remember that.
What was the inspiration behind the Red Mountain?
That's a good question.
Or any information you want to talk about the Red Mountain. Talk about all the tracks, right?
The Red Mountain, it's actually a funny thing. It's more or less a hybrid of two song ideas we had, because when we recorded our EP Hirschen's Call, during the recordings we had some major lineup changes and shifts. It was very crazy to handle, it's kind of you can figure that it was that the production itself was a little bit messy too, and we basically had to satisfy more or other needs in the band. Since I said we had a lot of lineup changes, and so we had to merge those two songs. And the Red Mountain actually is, I think it turned out well that way, because we took, actually, in my opinion, the best two parts of the songs. And if you listen to it, you can kind of feel it too, because the first part of the song is very fast, very heavy, a little bit thrashy in the beginning, and in the end it gets very melodic. It starts with this big break where the accordion is playing and the orchestra kind of builds up. And yeah, well, we kind of had to work with this also in terms of lyrics, and we thought we actually chose the story of a kind of how can we, Alex, can you help me out?
Well, I would say that it kind of revolves around the change that happened in the land there, and also the history of the Red Mountain itself, about the heart of Lorcan, and about how that volcano erupted, and kind of.
So yeah, it was basically, just to sum it up very fast. It's about three warlords who have of the elves. Let's just say it's the elves, and they have basically a war with the dwarves, and there's the site, the battlefield basically is the Red Mountain, and at that place the elves defeated the dwarves and found a divine artifact, Lorcan's heart, as Alex just said, and the sheer power of that artifact was so big that it even corrupted the mind of one of the warlords who used to be friends, but he turned on against his friends. Basically.
Yeah, it's about deception, and it's about
treason.
How power can corrupt.
Yeah,
can corrupt. Well, in that case, not mankind, but elf kind.
and that's where the part where the orchestra hits in, where it gets kind of calm and smooth, and it's basically this inner conflict of the corrupted elf called Dagoth and well, as the orchestra gets bigger and more powerful, and then in the end the guitars and the drums kick in again with a very fast and driving beat. That's where he basically gives into his lust for power, and we're totally corrupted by the heart. And that's in the end it turned out very well, because that story is very essential in the world of the Elder Scrolls. And since we took the calm part and the fast part, which on their own fit perfectly to the war kind of part, to the battle part, and to the
part of corruption.
The reflecting part, the succumbing to something part. It turned out surprisingly good. And we really like it. It's actually my personal favorite song from the EP.
I think that's the case for most of us, I believe. Yeah. There are a lot. I think the majority in Daedric Tales would say the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys combined the story and the music together and married them, which I think is just cool, right? Because that's true songsmanship. I think is that a word? I don't know. That's a word.
You made it up. It's fine. Now it's a word.
Boom. Let's go listen to the second song, a new single called "Sleepers Awake." Coming back from Sleepers Awake, similar thing. What was the inspiration behind Sleepers Awake? It's kind of also an oxymoron, or is it not? How does that... Sleepers Awake. I love it. Talk to me about
it. Sleepers Awake in the story basically continues the Red Mountain, but that's just hundreds of years later. Because that elf we talked about, the corrupted one, Dagoth-Ur, he was defeated in the Red Mountain. But with the divine artifact, he kind of promoted himself to some sort of god, and now he's back with his cult called the Sixth House, and he's infiltrating the dreams of the people of the land of the elves, and the ones who basically fall for his scheme, for his kind of little speaks and talks he's having in the dreams of the people. Those people are called dreamers, and he's gathering basically his minions with this strategy. And in Sleepers Awake, we're basically talking, or the story is from the perspective of one of those dreamers. He is seeing Dagoth as a very glorious man with a golden mask, someone
his
who's...
master, yeah.
Yeah, his master, or in this case her, because, well...
It's me singing
Alex is singing.
So, well.
And Sleepers Awake is basically the command for of Dagoth how he's telling his dreamers, his followers to, well, let's rise and act. It's actually a sad song, but the person in the first, basically the first person, the one singing, narrating, is not experiencing it that way. And yeah, we actually, the idea of the song was, this is a song where I came up with the initial idea, and the idea was, let's do a song for 3 guitars, because all of the other songs were not actually created for that purpose. We kind of managed to put in a well-fitting third guitar, but this song was in my my intention was to have a good synergy between the 3 guitars. And I also wanted to kind of calm down a little bit, because all of our other songs are very fast, and Sleepers Awake is more it has a slower pace.
Adds in the reprieve from all the faster tunes.
Yeah.
But still, I think the orchestra really adds a nice sense of excitement to the whole song.
Yeah.
Like, it really accompanies it well. I especially like the way it starts in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gonzalo did a great job on the orchestra
Yeah,
there. It's
as always.
Boom, I love it. Kind of a really random question, but almost entirely not at the same time, because you guys have a lot of wisdom to share. For anybody listening in on Rock Metal Nation right now who's thinking of starting a band or wanting to, start to take over the world bit by bit with music, what kind of advice would you have for them?
You want to start, Alex, or should I?
Maybe start first.
Okay, yeah. I think is if you want to do something, just go for it. You will not. You cannot compare yourself like right the moment you start or months after that to your idols. You can do that, but it's don't expect being on the same level very, very fast, or actually. The most important thing in this situation is don't let the others tell you that you're doing this and that bad and wrong. You have to, in my opinion, find it out on your own where to improve. You can get input from others, but don't let their opinions dominate your way of working. So that's something you have to keep in mind. It's what they are telling you is just one fragment, and what you're thinking and experiencing is another fragment. You have just to kind of find a way to use both, or actually not both. There are millions of people who are telling you their opinion if you ask them. And you find, yeah, of course. I mean, without you asking them, we uploaded our new single "Sleepers Awake" on YouTube, and there was just, of course, the obituary person telling, "Wow, this sounds like crap." Well, yeah. If you think so, it's fine. It would be nice to tell us why, but if he's not willing to share, that's fine too.
They don't know why.
Yeah,
Classic troll, I would say.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't like the style of music. Maybe he just doesn't like metal. It's a possibility too.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I think that's how you should kind of handle it. Don't let it drag you down. If it's constructive, think about it. But
Yeah,
Don't
sure.
let it dominate your mind. Oh my God, he didn't like it. Well, duh. Can't help it.
I think that's also something that you have to take care
You
of when
too
you're
have-
on the internet.
Yeah.
It's always the same. There
Not
will
only
always
in the
be
internet,
people,
also in your
personal life, and
in
daily
your
life.
circles.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
it happens. There are people who are direct and sometimes hurtful, maybe without even wanting to be. But it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I would say that people who are starting in music, they really have to consider that music takes time and songwriting takes time and a lot of patience. It's not like you go out there and you're writing the #1 hit song or whatever you're aiming to write from the start. It's just you have to give yourself time. And also, I don't know, I think maybe another advice that I would give is don't be too harsh to yourself, because sometimes you just need time to evolve, to kind of create your own style and to find your way of working your music. And I think that's very important to consider that you need time to change and to adapt and to just develop your own way of working, your own way of your own abilities, all of that.
And she knows what she's saying. She's actually very hard on herself sometimes.
I know, yeah.
I was just thinking, actually, the reason she's saying that is probably because that's advice to herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, sort of. But I think that's always something that people have to keep in mind. It's especially hard, not only for me, but I guess for a lot of musicians out there. I mean, yeah, it's good to be realistic as well. That's important. What you do is crap, then
It's just crap. Can't help it. You have to practice a lot. It's just being positive and doing stuff doesn't replace practice. Of course, it's just you have to.
That's the old way, basically. You know, you're always talking about or moaning about people being like, I don't know, at least all my childhood long, when I was practicing instruments, it was like, practice, practice, practice. But actually, in the end, you realize that people are right.
One more thing, one little advice that I can give is don't be ashamed of your past. If you played in a crappy band, then you just played in a crappy band. If you had some trashy recordings that you never released, keep them. Don't delete them if you find them and think, oh my God, it was embarrassing and awkward. I never want to listen to that. Because, and the same goes for old files that you've recorded or written down. Because you can draw inspiration from them, you can revision them and think, okay, well, I get the idea what I wanted to do, but now I would do it this way, and that way it'll work better. And some things that I've at least found from my own stuff that I did from my past, I listened to them and I was thinking, okay, wow, this was actually very good and it's better than 70% of what I wrote in the past 6 months. It's okay. So just dig into your past again and don't throw away the stuff you recorded or written down. It's yeah.
Not only that, I also think it's really good because sometimes you're just so caught up in time, you're so caught up in your daily life that you don't even realize that you are actually making progress.
Yeah.
And I think
comparing
stuff
exactly.
that is really important. You can see, oh my goodness, I actually have gotten further, I actually have developed, I actually have gotten better at what I do. And that's just, I think it's really important also to keep an eye on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, going straight back from the beginning, Ari, don't let other people's opinions dominate your way of working or thinking. I mean, obviously, if you ask, you shall receive. If you ask for opinions, you'll get lots of them. You'll also get lots of unsolicited opinions as well. Mm-hmm. For example, in the case of, oh, this song sucks, well, whatever you want to do with it, right? I typically just ignore them. But any response in my head is, cool, why don't you send me your tracks and I'll go ahead and learn from the master. Which we all know they do.
Yeah, at least elaborating. So what do you not like?
Exactly, right? And then with Alex talking about basically building your own style, having patience in yourself, not being hard on yourself, recognizing that you're going to have practice all kinds of stuff that's going to construct the way that you play based on how other people are teaching you and what you're playing. But after a while, you need to really start working on your own style. But that might take quite a long time. And yeah, no, I think it's great, the advice that you guys gave, and it's very realistic, which I think is the important thing.
I really hope it just helps some people out there.
Yeah, same.
Fantastic. Now, we mentioned a new single. What kind of exciting news do we have coming up for Rock Metal Nation to stay tuned to with Daedric Tales?
So at the moment, we're in a really exciting phase. We just launched our lyric video, the lyric video for Sleep is Awake. We also launched a crowdfunding campaign that, I have to say, we are planning on releasing an EP and then a full-length album, our first full-length album, which is really great and really amazing. And we have already written a lot of songs, so there's really a lot to be expected and a lot to come in the future. And So there's actually, it's going to be a busy year for Daedric Tales. That's what I...
Yeah, we're busy all the time, and now we're extra busy.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, it's just... in our crowdfunding campaign, we have also put a lot of thought into the perks we want to offer the people, and we came up with something that I personally would be very interested in if a band I like would kind of bring out necklaces. I love necklaces. And we thought, let's just do that. And now we're in contact with someone who's making them like really by hand, and it's a lot of appointments. So yeah, we really hope people who backed us already will enjoy them, and we really hope that a lot of more people will come too, because the costs of recording are heavy, and we would really appreciate it if someone would ease the burden on our shoulders. Yeah,
in order to make the upcoming releases the best possible, we really need everyone's support. And so far, people have been very supportive. People have been very positive about the campaign, and it's really encouraging as well. It's really nice.
One day it was really funny. I just woke up and went to university and just had to go to the restroom and was checking my phone, obviously. And suddenly I got a message that an Australian guy not donated, he backed us with 222 euros, which is, wow, that's a lot. It was just, I don't believe my eyes, man. Thank you so much.
That's, wow. I mean, I was about to say, then you had to get back to the washroom. But either way, I mean, it was definitely one of those moments where you're like, sweet, people believe in us. And you go back to the guy who said this sucks, and you go, yeah, well, somebody believes in us. So,
no, it was really an awesome feeling, because
very reassuring as well.
Yeah, well, even like musicians, we need that. Please tell us if you like it.
Yeah, well, and that's
we hear that. We love to hear that.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is a lot of times we're looking for that positive recognition, but it's a business at the end of the day. And while some people are going to be telling you, "Oh man, that was great," but they're not funding anything, and at the other time, people are saying, "Oh, that sucks," but they're also not funding anything. So it's those those quiet people in the background who are just funding you are the real supporters, right? And it's whenever somebody, because I've done all kinds of stuff with music and other podcasts and things like that, and whenever somebody unleashes that kind of negative rhetoric, that vitriolic language of, oh, this sucks and you're terrible and blah, 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 and you should be taken off and that, and I'm just like, I just go back over to the account where people are quietly supporting me, and I remember that if this truly did suck, there would be no financial backing from anybody.
Exactly, yeah. That's it, basically.
You know?
And also, I think it's kind of difficult, like these days, some people don't believe or kind of don't agree that music should be financially supported. They kind of expect that music is going to be there, it's going to be on the internet, you can download it for free, and you can just rip it off the internet and don't even think a second about how much work actually went into that.
I mean, this is not only about music. We are, as I just said, having a lot of meetings and appointments with different people. For example, when we record the CD, we don't only have the musicians having composed the songs, not only the skills of the persons who literally just play it, not the poetry of the lyrics. We also have artwork. It's just someone who's not even part of the band, but he's doing a great job. Like, you know how many hours it takes to create a digital painting that we want to use as the CD artwork. All the designers who basically arranged the and design the booklet and stuff. It's all stuff that has to be considered, and those people need credits. The audio engineer, mixing and mastering. It's just the ultimate, in my opinion, the ultimate combination of various arts in one CD. It's just how
there are multiple people behind this. It's not only the band. There are so many more involved in this project. Yeah.
That's also a good and beautiful thing about this music stuff. It's not only writing music, which is kind of good for the soul, and the performing stuff, which is fun. But also you work with other people on the same thing. It's nice to have that. To
combine your art with other people's art, basically.
It's just something I don't know anywhere else you would find that. It's just,
it brings two things to mind. Number one is creating jobs. If it wasn't for you creating that music, there would not be an audio engineer or a mixer or a master or anything, or the people who make the equipment for the recording to get done, etc., etc. Right? It's a huge industry that is just plagued by the ignorance of people wanting it to be free. It just goes down to ignorance all on its own. And then it also brings me back to the other thing you mentioned, the skill. Well, it takes time to develop skill, and it reminds me of a story of the person who had a creaking panel in their floor, so they called somebody to come fix it, and he looks around for a bit, puts the nail in, hammers it, and the creaking is completely gone. He gets handed the bill. It's over $100. And they're like, why is it over $100? All you did was pound one nail into the floor. He said, well, yeah, it's about $1 for the nail, but it's about $99 for the years of experience and skill to know where exactly to pound that nail in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. He could just gone for the trial and error method and mess up the whole floor, but it's just the years that told him where to put the nail. You're right in this.
That's not only musicians; it's also with graphic derdesigners. I talked to a friend of mine.
Actually, everyone, every single field of work. If you're good at it, you've had experience, and that should be worth something.
And then customers are like, "Why does this cost so much?" And then the only thing that you have to answer is, the customers, because it took me 20 years of experience to get it done that well and that fast. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, that's what people don't consider. It's education that you pay as well. It's not only the final product and, working time. Yeah. It's not only what's on the bill, it's what's behind that. So
big thank you again to all the generous people who actually support musicians.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And that brings me to my final question, which is, and feel free to shamelessly promote the crowdfunding link as well, how can Rock Metal Nation find out more about you guys and your work and then give to the crowdfunding effort?
The best thing to do is just to visit our website, the official Daedric Tales web fortress. Yes, that's a very cringy and fantasy trashy name. But it's just fun to do that. The URL is daedrictales.com. And on the website, you will find a place for all the releases. You can download Sleepers Awake, our new single, for free. There's a link. You can find a link to our 2013 EP, Here's Call. And on the main page, we have some funny, cute, and nice moving banners at the top. The first one links you to our crowdfunding campaign. So make sure to secure your fan packs.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And by the way, I just want to talk about 1 or 2 perks from the crowdfunding campaign, because we thought maybe someone is a little bit sadistic and wants to do that.
Oh, goodness. I remember.
We just put in the perk for fun. If someone feels like having his or her name tattooed on Gonzalo's skin, there's a perk for that in the crowdfunding campaign. And if someone is a little bit sadistic, the band will force me to shave my hair. I mean, my hair is quite long. It goes to my waist now, and it'll be gone in 1 second. So if you
we will all enjoy ourselves and film it.
Yeah, and I'll be screaming like a like I don't know what. But hey, everything for the band, man.
That's
so
dedication.
You'll basically ruin my haircut, but you'll save the band. So feel free to do that.
And not only that, but I think, talking about how you can find more about the band, we actually have infiltrated all sorts of social media, so it's quite easy to find us, at least some of...
If you're on Facebook, you just go there and type in Daedric and then the space bar, and then Tales. and on Twitter, it's the same thing. On Instagram, we don't have an official account, but we have.
But I have an account.
Yeah, and I
have
do,
an account.
and Gonzalo
has
has.
an account. So
yeah, if you type in Daedric Tales and thing, you will find the hashtag, and you will see it's mostly us posting it. So yeah, feel free to follow us too.
Fantastic. All right, Rock Metal Nation, go to daedrictales.com. That is DAEDRICTAETALES.com, daedrictales.com. All of the relevant links will be there. All of the everything you can find out about Daedric Tales, as well as the Sleepers Awake track, you can go ahead and snag for free. Definitely been amazing having you guys on. Unless there's anything else you want to add in there, I think that Rock Metal Nation is a little bit better today from the couple of tracks they heard and the wisdom that you had to share.
We're so glad you liked it, and we hope all the listeners liked it too. And we want to thank you, John, and the whole Rock Metal Nation so much for inviting us. It was really fun with you here. And yeah, we wish you all the best for the future.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.